So here I have made a chart, sort of. Basically, the diameter of the pivots. I put down what each wheel is in millimeters. Starting with the mainspring, which is the great wheel, second, third, fourth, escape. That's on the time side. And then I do the same thing, the great wheel. I measured that, the strike, and then I've got the second, third, fourth, and the fifth will be the fan governor, which it does not need a bushing, and neither does the warning wheel in this case. But I'll still put their diameters down. Now, I have taken some bushings out of my assortment, and I've kind of come up with, I have, for the strike side, which is this side right here, start with the great wheel, second, third, fourth, and then the fan governor would go in this empty hole here that is over there. Yep, there you go. Anyway, back to here. I've actually checked some bushings out, and so preferably the second wheel, it could use an L20 in KWM, which takes a number 3 reamer. I don't have an L20, but I do have an L67 that takes a number 3 reamer. I'm going to check it again. The pivot will actually go in the hole. I think it's very snug, which is what I want. Some other ones either wouldn't even start, or they would have been too sloppy. So that's what I'm thinking I can use for this particular diameter pivot according to my chart, which is another. I don't have it in front of me right here, but this is a KWM listing. And then I don't have a bushing gauge. I've got a copy of one, but I don't have a bushing gauge to actually stick the pivot in, so I'm using the bushings themselves to get an idea. And I'm measuring things with my calipers. With my calipers, it measures metric. Got it set to metric. Okay, and then these other ones, all the other pivot diameters, whether they're in the front or the back, they are right around that 148 to 149. In some places, on a couple of them, 146, but they're really, really close. And so these would do better. I've got the L18. It is extremely tight. It won't hardly start. And I don't want to have to ream out. There's not a lot of meat on some of these bushes. I don't want to have to ream and ream. L19 would be completely ideal, but I don't have an L19. However, what I do have is I have some other assortments of some bushings that were actually, they measure the exact size for a bourgeon. The only reason I've got them here to use them is because they actually have the same diameter as a KWM in that particular size. They both take a 3.5 reamer as far as the outside diameter, and the pivot fits nice. It barely, with a little bit of pressure, it will start in there. So it will actually go in, but it doesn't just slide in. I mean, you have to actually put a slight amount of pressure and it will start in the hole, which is good. And these bourgeon bushings have got really thick walls, which will not be a problem with where they're going on this movement. So I am going to use these for my smaller size diameter shaft. I have, according to what I measured and checked, the ones I've got a dot by actually need bushings. The one that says okay doesn't. So I scratched that out. It doesn't need one. This one doesn't need one. That's on the back plate. The front plate is where the most wear seemed to happen on this movement. And down here on the strike side, actually we don't have a whole lot on the strike side. We've got one that can use a bushing in the front and the back plate. And so on the strike side. And then here, like I said earlier, the warning wheel and the fan governor do not need a bushing. I've already checked those. So anyway, I decided to take some notes in addition to my photos and videos. So I'm going to start the process of doing the bushing work. I've got a KWM type style machine. It's probably not the brand, but it uses the KWM system, which includes a countersink tool, which I have in a hand. You know, you can actually hand bush as well with this. And then I've got assorted reamer sizes in a metal case right now with some other things. I'm only going to be needing actually these sizes I looked at. The ones that's a Virgin will actually take a number 4 reamer. All the other sizes are taking the same bushing, which requires a number 3 reamer. So, and then all the bushings, as far as the height, there's only 2 different sizes I'm using. Both sizes match the, I think the Virgin is a 1.5 millimeter on the height. The KWM is 1.4, and the plate thickness actually measures with the caliber of 1.4. So it won't hurt at all to have a 1.5 bushing in there, as long as I've got it flush to the inside. That 0.1 millimeter proud on the outside will not hurt a thing. If anything, it may help. So I'm going to stop this camera right now and get better set up for doing bushing work.